So, Transform Wife shared this. It's aimed towards Christians here, so you non-Christians are off the hook this time. No Christian should be shocked at the alarming increase in singleness. What's up, guys? How you doing? I'm Paul.
I'm Morgan.
And this is the Paul and Morgan.
The Paulandmorganshow.
In today's episode of The Drop, we are tackling the transformed wife because she might have the answer
to your singleness.
Tell me first off, Morgan, what knowledge do you have of the transformed wife? What's your preconceived notion?
She's not someone that I've looked into that much, but I've heard her name a ton. Stuff pops up on our YouTube feeds of like some channel talking about the transformed wife.
Yeah.
Why I don't agree with the transformed wife.
We've noticed that a good amount of the channels that make hate videos on us make hate videos on the transformed wife. I feel like the transformed wife is even an easier target than us, believe it or not.
Yeah, for sure.
Here, I'm just going to read how she describes herself on her Twitter. Her Twitter says, "A wife, a mother, a grandma, and a keeper at home, loves Jesus and is not afraid to speak the truth because it sets you free." And that last part, not afraid to speak the truth, that is an understatement. The transformed wife lays it out there. She does not hold back. And guys, real quick, we don't know a ton about the transformed wife, her stances, her theology, so don't take this video to mean like we are putting her on this pedestal. We don't know enough about her. What happened actually was my mom sent us, screenshotted Morgan and I, a post that the transformed wife shared on her Facebook page. So we're going to actually read it and then just share our thoughts on it, just our raw, honest thoughts, and we welcome you guys, as usual, to share your thoughts in the comment section. So, transformed wife shared this. I guess the original person who said it or posted it was Real Christianity. Here is what it says. No Christian should be shocked at the alarming increase in singleness. Marriage is no friend of selfishness, and we are a self-centered society. You add that to our commitment-phobic culture and the pornography in our pockets, and you end up with exactly what we have. This post did not mix words. Morgan, before we break this down, because I feel like there's several chunks to this post, before we break it down, thoughts on the post?
I'm not gonna lie, I think it's pretty good.
Boom! 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 Boom!
That might not be a big surprise for some of you out there. You might be like, oh, big surprise. But yeah,
So
I think it definitely, there's a point to this. To whoever said this, they're onto something.
They're onto something, but don't get us wrong, guys. It's kind of dangerous to lump a whole group into one thing. All singles that want to get married remain single because X.
They're selfish and blah, blah. Yeah, I'm not saying that I think...
And I know you're not saying that.
If you're single, it's because you're selfish and you struggle with pornography,
But oftentimes, when someone makes a post like this, that's thought-provoking and kind of stirring people up, there is kind of a truth behind it that gets at a lot of culture or a lot of kind of the underlying reasons. But again, don't flip out. Don't start feeling condemned if you're like, man, I'm single. I've made a commitment with my eyes not to look at pornography. I really desire not to be selfish and
Yeah, we don't think every Christian single out there struggles with these things and that's why they're single. I know many beautiful single women and men who are single not for any of those reasons.
Yeah.
It's just not their time to be in a relationship.
And that's a whole nother topic of just Lord, help us to be patient in our singleness. Help us to be pure. Help us to be preparing ourselves, growing in godliness. So don't put that on yourself if that's not you, and you know if it's you or not. But we do ask that maybe open yourself up a little bit. Let's be humble as we break this down. So it starts out here once again, no Christian. Okay, so she's referring here, she's not just bringing in all of the people that don't claim to be Christians that are living in the world. She's talking to Christians here, which honestly, or the person that made this post is talking to Christians here, and she shared it. Honestly, that in a way makes it worse. She's saying Christians are selfish and looking at pornography and all this stuff. So,
which, yeah, I mean, there are plenty of Christians that are very selfish, that struggle with sinful things such as pornography, struggle with the idea of having to commit. I mean, like, us Christians are immune to those things.
Absolutely.
So
it's not like we're Christians, so suddenly, boom, we don't struggle with any of these things. But you would hope that as believers continue to grow in the Lord, they're getting less selfish. They're learning how to turn from sins like pornography.
You would hope.
You would hope. We're on a journey to holiness. No Christian should be shocked at the alarming increase in singleness. Can we just establish that there is more singleness today than there was 10 years ago? A lot more Christians are either single or remaining unmarried until later. That's just the facts. Sure, there could be a number of reasons, but
it might not always be by choice. Like, you're striving, you're looking, you are trying your best, but still just can't find the person.
Yeah. Marriage is no friend of selfishness, and we are a self-centered society. Marriage is no friend of selfishness. That is true. I have like this voice in the back of my mind of people being like, "How dare you speak that over, Christians? That Christians are self-centered." Don't lump all Christians into that. Let's pull back a little bit from getting offended. It would seem that Christian youth struggle with being self-centered, struggle with being it's about me. And as a whole, I think our culture has embraced so much of look at me, it's about me, my worth, to the point where it's unhealthy and it's seeped into Christian culture.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it stinks because the younger generation has grown up in this self-centered society. Like, they don't even, know any better because this is what we've, raised them up to be.
Unless parents have been very vigilant in going to the Word of God and speaking truth over them.
Mm-hmm.
Love your neighbor as you do yourself. It's not all about you.
I'm not saying that, you struggle with selfishness and you don't have a walk with the Lord. That's not what I'm saying at all.
A way that you can grow in not being selfish, get out and serve. The more you're serving, the more your eyes are on other people, the less that you can be so self-absorbed. You add the self-centeredness, you add that to our commitment-phobic culture. Commitment-phobic. Interesting wording there. Is our youth commitment phobic? Well, once again, if you look at the rates of singleness and even how long people might get together and be, in a dating relationship but not get married, 4 years, 5 years, 10 years. I mean, obviously someone might say, oh, it's not just because I'm scared of commitment, but I think that a lot of times
it's not because I'm scared of a commitment. It's because I want to finish my college degree. It's because I want to be working a job for at least 4 years before I get married. It's because I want to move here and travel there and do this. Me.
We're not, saying that's all selfishness because but if you look at that, a lot of it is me.
Here's the thing. We don't just have problems with committing into, marriage. We have problems I've noticed with, I've noticed this in myself, too, committing to a job. Being I'm going to work this job for 1 year. I don't care how crappy it is. I don't care how hard it is. I'm going to do 1 year.
I mean, guys, even back when I worked at a sit-down restaurant, I would see people come in, work for a week, and then not even show up or call to let them know they were quitting. They were just boom.
Yikes.
And it was what are you guys doing? At least call and say you're moving elsewhere. You're moving on from this job.
Don't get me wrong, I still believe that we millennials and generation Y, X, Y, Z, whatever it is, we're still hard workers and we have a lot of really, really good qualities. But I do think commitment is one of the struggles that we face in all aspects of life.
That's good. But yeah, Morgan, I love that you said that. The younger generation has some skills that the older generations don't. They have some giftings that are just amazing. But we're focusing on this post right here. We're not trying to come across as bashing the younger generation.
We're a part of that generation.
We are. Let's jump back in. So you add that to our commitment-phobic culture and the pornography in our pockets, and you end up with exactly what we have. We go in there, Morgan. We talking about the pornography in our pockets?
Well, I think it's interesting that they mention that because, like, some people might be like, well, why the heck, what does that have to do with anything? Like, what does that have to do with my singleness? And it's that, in my opinion, I think it was good that she brought that up, or whoever wrote this brought that up, because I think that's one of the reasons, again, that we have commitment issues, that we have selfishness issues, is because you are seeing these things, whether it's straight up pornography or it's Instagram porn. Instagram porn, because that's the thing.
Yeah, it is.
You're just like seeing that all of the time, men and women.
Looking so good.
So good. Life is looking perfect. Your bodies are amazing. No flaws. And then, like, when you meet a woman or you meet a man in person, they don't look as good, or their life actually isn't as great, or whatever. It just doesn't line up with their Instagram, like, specifically, or just with Instagram and just social media in general, of what you have in your mind of what, like, a relationship should be, or what a guy should be, or what a girl should be, whatever. I think that ties right into, like, everything that has been said in this post. I'm just like, well, this isn't what I expected, so I'm out. Or, like, you're not as attractive as the people that I could watch online, so I'm out. Like, I don't know, just like, yeah, there's...
I mean, you know, I think there is some truth to that, yeah. Again, guys, like, if you aren't giving in to pornography, don't get offended. Like, this isn't for you. Praise God, you know? But pornography, unfortunately... If you look at the statistics, and I don't know the statistics for females, but for males, for Christian males in their teens and 20s, it's staggeringly high. If you think that, you know, 90%, 95% of young Christian males that are looking at pornography, if you think that that is not affecting other areas of their life, you know, their singleness, their dating, their marriages, like, that's crazy not to think that it's affecting other areas.
Yeah. It's just insane to see how much pornography affects a relationship, a marriage, children, like, all.
And guys or girls, like, we have grace for you. If you are struggling with pornography, like, we get how difficult, how much of a pull something like pornography can have. We would just encourage you in love, like, please take this seriously. If you just keep falling day and day and day to pornography, like, get help. Use some drastic measures. Don't just kind of accept this as your lot in life, because it does. It affects a lot, and it, most importantly, affects your relationship with God and puts a wedge in there.
I mean, the enemy steals, kills, and destroys through pornography. And we've watched it happen in people's lives, and it's so sad. And it makes sense as to why they put that in the comment that she shared, because, yeah. The
enemy thrives in darkness. So honestly, a great first step is just bringing it to the light and telling someone that you trust. So guys, we could talk a lot more and a lot more deeply about the pornography stuff. Ultimately, my goal was just to hit and give our perspectives on the different pieces of this post. Guys, don't take this as condemnation, especially if you're not in this boat. Once again, like, don't get offended. We're just sharing our thoughts, and we do think there is at least some truth. Hopefully, if that is you, and like every single one of those is you, you're able to be like, whoa, all right. And start like taking steps to move away from being the poster child of this post.
Oh, wow.
That the transformed wife shared. We say all of this in love. We say all of this hoping to raise you up, guys, to become more godly, more God-honoring, better prepared for a godly marriage. Guys, as usual, we love to hear your thoughts on this, because we realize, like, there were several layers to that, and we know that you guys are going to have some good insight. So comment below. Let us know what you think. I'm looking forward to reading those comments. Also, guys, we'd love to hear your thoughts for future drop episodes. So comment below, hashtag the drop with P&M. Let us know what you'd like us to talk about. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed us posting 2 videos this week. All right, you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. We're grateful for you all. We'll talk to you very soon. Have hope.
And be free. Yeah.
We forgot to do the card.
I didn't know that we did that.
I wrote it down. The transformed wife is on the ticket for today. I like doing the card, and I like this plant.
And you might hear hear what we shared and be like, well, that is why I'm single, because because everyone out there is selfish
Oh.
and commitment phobic, and I'm not one of those people.